Hey, thanks for stopping by. You can see I have a couple screens open. One's in Chrome, one's in Safari. What I have over here is a personal calendar for Saturday, June 21st. This data here is the MLB game schedule. And in particular, I'm just going to pick out a random game. Why don't we just follow the timeline here? This is the strike ticker. If you look at it, this red line for time, if you see here in chronological order, it's coming up on 11:40 here, Mountain Standard. Next game up was the Twins. I'm going to move down to Chicago. You're going to click this here, or I am, excuse me, and you'll see here in the personal calendar that I have used a create command, create at calendarsnack.com, in all of these here to put on my AWS Calendar Invite Server. So what we do is ingest this data simply into a process in which we built on the AWS Calendar Invite Server. We take data in here. Number one, we disassemble it and reassemble it on demand using our APIs. And what I'm going to show you today basically is this really simple concept of an upcoming landing page. You put an email address in at the top, you click some buttons here, one click, calendar invite sending, and we track all this data. But on the front end of all is we commonly get asked, hey, where's your GUI to actually put stuff into the calendar invite server? Then we say, yo, we do not have a GUI, it's headless. And it takes a little bit of time to conceive in your mind how it works, but it works quite well. So this engine over here is just a personal calendar. You can use Google or Outlook, and the command is create at calendarsnack.com. You see it there, and this data shows up over here. So I'm going to quit yapping about that. I'm going to put this away, and simply put, for this demo, I could pick out any one of these here, and if it's displayed on here, it came from here. So personal calendar, we eat the data, we eat the calendar invite data. It shows up on the AWS stack. This AWS stack, if you're an AWS customer, is available for download. This stack here works with your APIs to build out any conceivable app that you have, or an integration effort to send out transactional or marketing calendar invites at scale. And that's another different discussion. Back to the script at hand. I'm going to go ahead and populate my two screens again, and that one's there. So let's move around the screen. On this side here, you'll see the upcoming event, which was dynamically generated out of this. We have actually a generator here. I can go view events. I can pull up the 1,200 games left. You'll see them there. That's the data ingested from our ingest engine. I go here to click. I can use this little decorator, if you will. I can include all the data I want. I click a couple more buttons in the decorator here, open up the window, and you'll see that my upcoming games are here. Now, if I put this window away here and go backwards and get rid of all this here, what I'm going to go to is something called the schedule. So the schedule essentially is a different view, if you will, into how we display data. And works quite good for 2,500 games. You'll see that I only have about 1,240 left. Today's the 21st. So back down to grounding this into the script. I have data here on the left. This data got into here by using this create command. The create command's right there. We ingest the data. You don't have to worry about it, and it shows up on an upcoming calendar. So then how would you use this thing here, this upcoming calendar? Well, it's really cool. You just click a button, and guess what? Your end user, customer, puts in an email address. They click a couple more buttons, and they can actually send out a calendar invite. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to go over here, 28th, just randomly pick a game for, let's go down here for 2 o'clock. We're going to pick out the Rangers, round 14. I'm going to send Zach a calendar invite, pretending I'm the persona of Zach. I just sent out 2 calendar invites for the particular game of, let's go back here, the 28th. So 28th, I'm going to go back to Zach's inbox. You'll see that this data here showed up on his inbox, and he got 2 calendar invites for round 14 and you'll see them displayed on the page. They're going to generate. I'm going to say yes to one. I'm going to go back to the box. Now I'm going to say maybe to the other one. So if I go back and look at game data, we collect this data in the reporting engine. I'm going to go ahead and review reports. That game was for the 28th, I believe. And we're showing the 28th right here. There is 15 events for that day. Now I'm looking at data on the Calendar Invite Server itself. And you'll see here in the middle, I just basically retrieved 2 calendar receipts. One says tentative. And if I could just go back one here in the GUI, go back to the 28th, back to the middle of the page where this data showed up, you'll see that there's one there. And here's one in the middle. And it's for both of them. One was accepted and one said maybe. Now, the cool thing about data and data collection of calendar receipts is we actually collect the calendar receipts and monitor the customer. So if I said no to this one, I had a change of plans, and I said no to this one, that data now is being collected back in the Calendar Invite Server. How do we do that? Well, the data here is collected from the calendar receipts, and then we collect it back here from these receipts here. They're talking to the API gateway, and then in the RSVP data calendar invite bucket, we actually retrieve them and allow the APIs to show the stats on what's live with calendar invites downstream, and they show up here in this dashboard. So I bought a lot of time while this data is processing. So let's go back to the processing engine, back to this app we built that sits on top of the AWS Calendar Invite Server. I'm going to go back to the 28th. And when I go down the 28th and go to the capture engine for round 14, we have 2 different games I've displayed. We have one RSVP from each. And when I go in here and look at granulated data, I should say that one has declined there. And to finish up the demo, go back to the 28th. Since I'm working with so much data, I have to drill into these, as you can see. I think you'd be compassionate for the fact I have 2,400 events. So sometimes it gets a little gnarly to demonstrate, but there's the other one there. So I just showed you an interactive display of how calendar receipts are working and how our data ingestion model works and how this upcoming events engine works once the data is loaded onto the AWS Calendar Invite Server. And I'm displaying what is the industry's first ability to send calendar invites from a landing page, all done in hopefully about 6-minute demo. Thanks.